Hello students, we are going for biological classifications. So biological classification in this exercises level 1. So we are going to start by the first question. What is true about archaebacteriae? What is true about archaebacteriae? First option, all are photosynthetic. Second option, all are fossils. Third option, all are halophils. Fourth option, oldest living being. So we know that archaebacteriae is nothing but the ancient primitive prokaryotic organism. It is an ancient primitive prokaryotic organism existed different areas. The first one is methanogens. The word methanogens are nothing but this archaebacterium lives in a marshy areas. Whereas the second one is called as thermoacidophils. So thermoacidophils, they are present in hot springs. Whereas the third one is called as halophils, they are present in saline water or salt water. So here, first option, they are photosynthetic. It is the wrong answer because there is no green pigment. The second one, all are fossils. So even this is not the answer. The word fossil, it is the remains of the past. So the dead animals are the past. Organisms are converted into very hard stony and they are converted as fossils. So it's not the answer. All are halophils. It's not all are halophils, only some are halophils. So even this is not the answer. Oldest living being. Yes, this is the right one because the archaebacterias are primitive and ancient as well as prokaryotic cell. So the fourth option, oldest living being, is the right answer. We go for the second one. Organisms that have naked cytoplasm. Organisms that have naked cytoplasm, multinucleate and saprophytic in nature. Saprophytic in nature belongs to the kingdom. So here the organisms have a naked cytoplasm, multinucleated and saprophytic in nature, belongs to a kingdom. So here there are four kingdoms. One is called as kingdom Protista, the second one is called as kingdom Monera, the third one is called as kingdom Fungi, and fourth one is kingdom Animae. So these are the four options. So we know that in a kingdom Protista there is multi-nucleated and saprophytic in nature, comes under kingdom Protista. So this is the right answer. Whereas Monera, in kingdom Monera, all the unicellular organisms will come. So this is not taken into consideration. Whereas the third option, fungi. So here it is nothing but a group of plants which usually depends upon other for the food. So they are called as heterotrophic. Even this never comes under the answer. So the fourth option, animals. So it is Animalia. So in this again the animals comes under the highly organized kingdoms. So even this is not the answer. So the answer is kingdom Protista. Next, African sleeping sickness is due to. African sleeping sickness is due to. First option, Plasmodium vivax transmitted by tustus fly. I'll repeat this. Plasmodium vivax is transmitted by tustus fly. This is the wrong answer because we know that Plasmodium vivax causes malaria. So this disease is usually transmitted by a female Anaphyllus mosquito. It is not the tustus fly. So this option is wrong. Second one, Trypanosoma levsi. Trypanosoma levsi is transmitted by bed bug. So even this is wrong. So Trypanosoma levsi is also called as Chagas disease. It is called as Trypanosoma levsi is also called as a Chagas disease. So here this always causes black and brown rash. So based on the black and brown rash, this disease is caused and it is transmitted by testis fly. It is not bed bug. So bed bugs never comes here, so it is wrong answer. So we'll go for the third option. Trypanosoma gangrenaceae, transmitted by Glossinia pulpis. I'll repeat this. Trypanosoma gangrenaceae is transmitted by Glossinia pulpis. So this is the right answer because we know that Trypanosoma gangrenaceae always causes African sleeping sickness. So this is the right answer. Whereas we go for the fourth option, Entamoeba gingivaliis, spread by housefly. So even this is wrong. It is not by houseflies. So entamoebas are usually caused with the help of a contact with the patients. So this is not the answer. The right answer is third one. So we go for the next one. Spore producing body of a cellular slime mold. So here spore producing bodies of a cellular slime mold. So slime mold is a fungi. So this first option is pseudoplasmodium. So it is nothing but a false plasmodium. This is not the answer. The second option is plasmodium. Even this will not be the answer. The third option is spore producing body is always called as sporangium. So in a slime mold, it is a fungi. There is a presence of a plant body called as mycelium. So this mycelium produces an outgrowth and this outgrowth will be producing like a sporangia and this sporangia produces spores. So the right answer is sporangium. And the fourth option is sporophore. Sporophore is also not the answer. So spore producing body is always called as sporangium. So third option is right. So we go for the next one. Read the following statement and then select the incorrect statement. So here the incorrect statement is required. So we are going for the first one. Though the bacterial structure is very simple, they are very complex in behavior. So we know that the bacteria structure is very simple, but they have very complex in behavior. So this statement is right because we know that the bacterial behavior is going to vary from one to another one because it is useful to the humans as well as it is harmful also. The second one is chemosynthetic autotrophic bacteria. Chemosynthetic autotrophic bacteria plays a great role in recycling nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, iron and sulfur. Even this statement is right. So we know that chemosynthetic bacteria are nothing but they are extracting the nutrients. From the nutrients they produce ATP and NADP. So whereas in the photosynthetic bacteria they extract the ATP and NADPs from the sunlight and the other raw materials. But here chemosynthetic bacteria they extract the nitrogen or phosphorus or iron or sulfur from that they help in synthesizing the food and that produces ATP and NADPH2. Even this is right. So we go for the next option. Majority of heterotrophs bacteria are important decomposers. Majority of heterotrophic bacteria are important decomposers. Even this is right because we know that the bacteria grows on dead and decay. They are called as saprophytic. When they grow on dead and decay, they are called as saprophytic and it is being removed out. It is dead and decomposed and it is removed out. Hence, they are also called as scavengers. They are called as, bacteria is also called as natural scavengers. So, we go for the next option. Phototrophic bacteria synthesizes their food from organic substances. So, this is wrong option. The photosynthetic bacteria synthesizes their food from organic substances is wrong. They always produce from the sunlight, water and carbon dioxide, all this. So here the green bacteria is the example. So this is the wrong statement or incorrect statement. So chemosynthetic may be from organic matter, but here autotrophic bacteria cannot get their requirement or synthesis from the organic substances. This is wrong. So for this question, the answer is fourth one, incorrect statement. Next we will go for the next heading or the next question. Chemosynthetic bacteria obtains energy from. Chemosynthetic bacteria obtains energy from. So we know that first option is sunlight. So in the presence of sunlight, they produce ATP and NADPH2. They come under photosynthetic bacteria. So the sunlight is not the answer. UV rays, even ultraviolet rays is not also the answer for this. Organic substances. So in organic substances like carbohydrates, proteins, all this, it cannot undergo chemosynthetic process. So it is even wrong answer. The right answer is called as inorganic substances. The word inorganic substances, it is nothing but in the presence of hydrogen, sulfur, iron, phosphorus. In this inorganic compounds, they produce ATP and NADPH2 is formed. Hence, it is called as chemosynthetic bacteria. So, fourth option is right. Now, we go for the next question. Recognize the figure and find out the suitable matching. Here, we know that there is a presence of bacteria. So this is called as the bacteria cell is given like this, and here one more layer is present, one more layer, and it has the presence of genetic material. So here first one is called as A. Here I am going to read out the right options. A is always called as DNA. This is called as the genetic material. It is also called as double-stranded circular DNA, or it is called as naked DNA because it is a prokaryotic cell. The nucleus is not covered by the nuclear membrane. So we blindly use the word DNA. It is called as naked DNA. The second one is usually called as, this is called as B. So here the B is always called as cell membrane. It is called as cell membrane. So we know that next to the cell wall is plasma membrane or cell membrane. So here the second layer is always called as cell membrane, and the last one, this is called as C. The word C is always called as cell wall. C is cell wall. So here the recognize the figure and find out the suitable matching. So for this, we know that A is called as DNA and B is called as cell membrane and C is called as cell wall. So it matches with second option. Second option. So the second one is right. So we go for the next question. Archaebacteriae are the special type of bacteria since they live in some of the forested habitats such as extreme salty areas are called. I repeat this. Archaebacteria are a special type of bacteria since they live in some of the forested habitats such as extreme salty areas are called. The first option is halophils. So the first option itself is right. The halophils are nothing but the archaebacteria which are living in the salt water. So salt areas, this is been present. So the halophils is the right answer. The second one is called as methanogens. So we know that the methanogens are always present in the marshy areas. So marshy areas, methanogens. The third option is usually called as thermoacidophils. So the word thermoacidophils, they live in hot springs. And the fourth option, all the above. So this is not the answer. The first option is halophils is the answer. Now we go for the next one. The bacteria forming blooms in polluted water bodies are neutralized. I'll repeat this. Bacteria forming blooms in polluted water bodies are neutrally. First option. Photosynthetic autotrophs. Photosynthetic autotrophs. The second one is called as chemosynthetic autotrophs. The third option is called as heterotrophs. And fourth option is called as saprophytic. So we know that once it is forming the blooms in polluted water, meaning of that they keep on spreading on the water. So once they grow, they keep on growing and keep on spreading in the water, and it causes water pollution. This is caused due to it is photosynthetic autotrophs. So we know that the bacteria undergoes photosynthesis in the presence of a bacterial pigment called as bacterial chlorophyll. In the presence of that, they undergo photosynthesis and keep on spreading on the water. Hence it is called as photosynthetic autotrophs is the right answer. So second one, chemosynthetic autotrophs. Chemosynthetic, they always extract the nutrients from the inorganic compounds or inorganic substances. So this will not be the answer. Heterotrophs, meaning of heterotroph, they should depend upon other. Even that's not the answer. The fourth one is called as saprophytes. Even saprophytes is not the answer because the meaning of saprophytes, they grow on dead and decay. So even that is not the answer. So the first option is right. So we go for 10th question. Nostoc Anabina can fix atmospheric nitrogen in specialized cells known as, I repeat this, Nostoc and Anabina can fix atmospheric nitrogen in a specialized cells known as. The first option is called as conidophores. The first option is conidophores. So the meaning of conidophores, from the fungi, from the mycelium, they produces conidophores and this produces conidia. So this is one of the asexual reproduction. But Nostoc and Anabina comes under algae. But this is fungi. So this is not the answer. The second option, axospores. Axospores. Again, this axospores is nothing but which is producing the spores, and it is again, it is usually one of the algal formation, but it is not the answer. So here there is a formation of ascus, and from the ascus it produces ascospores. The third option is Hormogonium. Harmogonias, Harmogones or Harmogonia type of reproduction. This can be noticed in some of the nostoc filaments. But what happens in the nostoc filaments means, in a Harmogonia type of reproduction, it cuts at a particular filament and keep on synthesizing. From one cell, they produces 2 cells. From the 2 cells, they produces 4 cells. From the 4 cells, they produces 8 cells. Like this type of reproduction is called as Harmogonia type of reproduction. But here, this is not the answer. From one cell, they produce 2, 4, 8 cells like this. They keep on synthesizing, but it is not the answer. The fourth one is called as heterosis. So, in a nostoc filament, we have seen some of the cells which look empty. They are called as pale, yellow, empty cells are being present, called as heterosis. There are 2 types of heterosis. One may be called as intercalary heterosis. For example, if the heterosis is present in between the filaments, this is called as intercalary heterosis. And the other one which is present at the terminal end, this is called as terminal heterosis. So here they look empty. It looks like empty looking, forms a weak adjoining between the cells, and this heterosis has the capacity for nitrogen fixation. So heterosis helps in nitrogen fixation. So the right answer is heterosis. I repeat this. So heterosis helps in nitrogen fixation from the atmosphere. So it is present in nostoc and anabaena. So fourth option is right. We go for the next question. Which of the following is not a member of kingdom Protista? Not a member of kingdom Protista. I'll read out the first option. Again, the first option is Chrysophyta. Chrysophyta. This is the first option. This Chrysophyta is commonly called as golden brown algae. So this is not the answer. The second one is called as Mycelium. So Mycelium is always called as imperfect fungi. Imperfect fungi. So third option is dinoflagellates. Dinoflagellates, this is commonly called as red algae. Red algae. And fourth one is called as slime mounds. So slime mounds is fungi. So here the question is, which of the following is not a member of kingdom Protista? So we know that kingdom Protista has algae as well as protozoans. But here kingdom Mycota has the presence of fungi. So Deuteromycetes is the right answer. So Deuteromycetes is the right answer, whereas Trimouth is called as venereal fungi. So that cannot be taken into consideration. But here Deuteromycetes is called as imperfect fungi. This comes under a kingdom called as Mycota. So the answer is Deuteromycetes. Next. Examples of bioluminescence protozoans is. So here the word bioluminescence is nothing but which has a capacity to produce light, which has a capacity to emit light, usually called as bioluminescence. So for this, we go for the first one is paramecium. So paramecium is always called as stripper animalcule. Stripper animalcule, but this is not the organism which produces light. It's not the answer. Second one is Gidarium. So even this is not the answer. The third option is Entamoeba. Even this is not the answer because these options never produce light. The fourth option is called as Noctiluca. So Noctiluca is nothing but an organism which produces light. So it is usually which emits light is called as bioluminescence. So the example for bioluminescence protozoans is called as Noctiluca. So the fourth option is right. So we go for the next one. Virus can multiply in. Virus can multiply in host cells or living cells. The second one is Retinosis. The third one is culture media and agar, all of this. So here the virus can multiply. So we know that virus has a double nature. Outside the body, the viruses are dead. When viruses enters into the host cell, they start multiplying. So it has a double nature. One, outside the body, dead. Inside the host cell, they start producing. So here, the first option is host cells or living cells. This is the only one because there are ultra microscopic disease causing particles can multiply only inside the host cell. So outside the cell they are dead. So here host cells or living cell is the right answer. Whereas the second one called as Retinosis. Retinosis is nothing but dead or decay. So dead or decay, on that viruses cannot live. So even this is wrong. The third one is culture media and agar. The culture media is nothing but the media what we have created in the lab for the growth of an organism. But here virus outside the body is dead. So even that's not the answer. So fourth one is all of the above. Even that is not the answer. Now we'll go for the next question. Detailed study of bacteriophages was done by. Detailed study of bacteriophages was done by. So I'll read out the options. The first one is trot. So we know that the trot. So this person discovered bacteriophages. Hence, bacteriophages is also called as T phages. So here, the word bacteriophage is nothing but the virus which infects bacteria. So that was given by Trot. The second one is D. Harry. So this person, D. Harry, this person studied on bacteria. So this person studied on bacteriophage. So bacteriophages are nothing but the virus which infect bacteria. They are called as bacteriophages. The third option is Stanley. So we know that Wendell Stanley, this person crystallized and stored viruses. So this person, Wendell Stanley, has given about crystallized and stored. So the fourth option is both 1 and 2. 1 and 2 is the 1. But here the right answer is D. Harley. So this person, Harley, studied about bacteriophage. So the 14th question, second option is right. So we go for the next question. Match the column 1 and column 2. Choose the correct combinations from the options given. So I read out. the column 1 and column 2, and we are going to match this and giving you a right answer. First option, Phycomycetes. Phycomycetes, they are always called as algal fungi. So that is the first option, algal fungi. Second option, Ascomycetes. Ascomycetes is called as sac fungi. So it is a sac-like structure called as sac fungi. The third one is called as Basidiomycetes. It is called as club fungi or bracket fungi. The fourth one is Deuteromycetes, called imperfect fungi. So here the options matches with the second one. So the second is right. We'll go for the next question. Some hyphae are continuous tube filled with multinucleate. Cytoplasm, they are called. I repeat this. Some hyphae. The word hyphae is nothing but a tube-like or mycelium. The hyphae are continuously tube-filled with multinucleate cytoplasm. They are called. First option. The first option is synthetic, synthetical hyphae. The word synthetical hyphae, it is nothing but normal cell structure is present. Normal cell structures have been present. For that we use the word synthetical hyphae. The second one is called as dikaryon. Here the word dikaryon is nothing but the haploid spores or two haploid cells fused together to form diploid. Here we use the word haploid spore or cell fuses with one more. For example, haploid is here and one more haploid fuses together to form a diploid. So it is called as diploid. It is called as dikaryon. The third one is called as mycelium. The third one is mycelium. It is nothing but the plant body of fungi is called as mycelium. And the fourth one is called as Chemosynthetic. Fourth one is Chemosynthetic hyphae. So the word Chemosynthetic hyphae, here the hyphae is usually multinucleated. Multinucleated hyphae with well-developed cytoplasm. So here the right answer is Chemosynthetic hyphae. I'll repeat the question. Some hyphae are continuously tube-filled with multinucleated cytoplasm. These are called Chemosynthetic hyphae. So the fourth option is right. We go for the next question. In Basidiomycetes, karyogamy and meiosis takes place in. So here the word karyogamy is nothing but the fusion of nucleus. Two nucleus is fused together, then it is called as karyogamy. So in Basidiomycetes, karyogamy and meiosis takes place. Meiosis is called as reductional division, where the chromosome number becomes half. So it is called as meiosis takes place in. The first one is called as basidium. So the first option is. So basidium is always called as club-shaped structure. Club-shaped structures are called as basidium. So we know that there is a presence of hymenium. So when we take a section of a gill, so in a agaricus there is a presence of a gill. When you take a section of a gill, in this gill there is a presence of trama, subhymenium and hymenium. So in the hymenium, it is usually club-shaped structures, and these club-shaped structures are usually called as basidia. So here this is usually called as Basidium. This is one. So we'll go for the second one called as Basidocarp. The second one is Basidocarp. The Basidocarp is called as the fruiting body. It is the fruiting body of Agaves. Agaves is nothing but mushroom. So, fruiting body of Agaves is called as Basidocarp. And the third one is called as Basidospores. So here, on a club-shaped structures, there are 4 spores are being present, and these 4 spores are called as Basidospores. This is Basidospores. This is called as Basidia. And the fourth option is Dikaryon. The fourth option is Dikaryon. As I mentioned here, 2 diploid, or we call it as haploid, fuses with haploid spores to give rise to a diploid spore. Diploid spore, hence it is usually called as a dikaryon. In a mycelium, the nucleus, 2 haploid nucleus fuses together to form a diploid, hence it is usually called as diploid. So here the right answer, in Basidospores, the karyogamy and meiosis always takes place in Basidium. So this is the right answer. Basidium is a club-shaped structures. In this club-shaped structures, Basidium, it is usually karyogamy and meiosis takes place. So we'll go for the next question. The fusion of protoplasms between the 2 fungal gametes is called fusion of protoplasm. When the 2 hyphae come closer, unites, 2 hyphae or 2 mycelium come closer, unites to form the fusion of cytoplasm is called as protoplasm. Fusion of cytoplasm is called as plasmogamy. So this is one. And 2 fungal filaments is called as. So here the first option is plasmogamy. So the word plasmogamy is nothing but the fusion of 2 cytoplasms or protoplasm. Here the word cytoplasm and protoplasm means from here to here, the space between the nuclear membrane and the plasma membrane, this space is always called as cytoplasm. Whereas cytoplasm plus nucleus. So from here to here, cytoplasm plus nucleus is called as protoplasm. Here the fusion of 2 protoplasms is always called as plasmogamy. So the first option itself is right. The second option is karyogamy. The word karyogamy is nothing but fusion of 2 nucleus. Fusion of 2 nucleus is called as karyogamy. This is not the answer. The third option is both. Even this is not the answer. And fourth one is none of this. So even this is not the answer. The right answer is plasmogamy. Now we will go for the next question. Read the following statement and then select the incorrect statement. The first option, the colonies of cyanobacteria are generally surrounded by gelatinous sheath. So even the statement is right. So we know that there is a presence of colonies of cyanobacteria are generally surrounded by gelatinous sheath. So when we go for a word called as a nostoc, so in the nostoc we know that there is a presence of filamentous algae. So this filamentous algae, the nostoc is covered by a mucilaginous sheath. It is covered by a mucilaginous sheath. But when we go for a colony of a nostoc, this colony of a nostoc is covered by a sheath, and this sheath is always called as gelatinous sheath. It is covered by a sheath, and this sheath is always called as gelatinous sheath. So this is right statement. This second one, the cyanobacteria are unicellular, colonial or filamentous, freshwater marine or terrestrial algae. Even this statement is right because cyanobacteria there is unicellular is also there, colonial as well as filamentous, freshwater as well as marine water. All these have been present. So second statement is right. So we'll go for the third statement. Rhizopus belongs to a class Phycomycetes of a kingdom fungi. Yes, Rhizopus is nothing but a bread mound. So bread mound comes to a class called as Phycomycetes. It is also called as algal fungi. So the third statement is also right. So we'll go for the next question. Next one. Fourth one. The bacteria are grouped under two categories based on their shape. So this statement is wrong. So we know that bacteria are classified into four types based on the shape. It is not two categories. It is four categories. So as we know that the first one is called as spherical shape called as cockade. The second one is rod shaped called bacillus or bacillus. The third one is called as comma shape. Comma shape is called as vibrio, and fourth one is called as coil shape, and the coil shape is usually called as spirula or spirulum. So here, based on the shape, there are four categories or four types. So the fourth option is wrong, incorrect statement. So we'll go for the next question. Recognize the fungi and find out the correct matching. So in this, there are two diagrams are there. The first diagram is mucor. The first diagram is mucor and the second diagram is aspergillus. So read out the options. So the first option is albigo. So albigo is nothing but a parasitic oomycetes. It is not a true fungi. Whereas aspergillus niger. Even this is one of the fungi. But here, the first option albigo never matches. The second one is mucor agaricus. Mucor agaricus. So we know that mucor matches, agaricus is not the answer. Agaricus is nothing but mushroom. So that is not the answer. The third one, aspergillus, and the next one is called as mucor respectively. So the third option matches here. The third option is called as aspergillus and mucor. This is the right one because so we know that here aspergillus and mucus respectively. The fourth option mucor and aspergillus respectively. So here the third option is right. The first diagram is called as aspergillus and the second diagram is always called as mucor hibalis. They are also called as bread mound. So the third option matches here. So we'll go for the next question. Which of the following fungal disease, which is a fungal disease? So in this, the first one is called as citrus canker, white spots on mustard, black rot on mustards, potato spindle tubers disease. So here citrus canker. First option, citrus canker. So this is one of the bacterial disease and this disease is caused by Xanthomonas citri. Xanthomonas citri. This is caused by bacteria. The second one is called as white spot on mustard. White spot on mustard. So this is one of the fungal disease. This is one of the fungal disease. The third one is called as black rot on mustard. black rot or mustard. Again, this is one of the bacterial disease. One of the bacterial disease called as Xanthomonas campestris. This is the third one. And the fourth one is called as potato spindle tuber disease. Tuber disease, this is called as PSTD. This disease is caused by viroid. It's not virus, it is viroid. So here, fungal disease is always the white spot or mustard. This is the right answer. So we go for 22nd. In mucor Himalayas or mucor, asexual reproduction takes place by non-motile spores named as. So here in mucor, it is nothing but mucor Himalayas, asexual reproduction takes place by non-motile. Meaning of non-motile, they cannot move. Non-motile spores named as, first option, conidia. So again, as I mentioned earlier, there is a presence of hyphae, and from the hyphae it produces conidophores. On the conidophores, the conidia is formed. This is called as conidia. So this is not the answer. Whereas the second one is called as zygospores. So the zygospores, for example, as we take some of the algal plants. So for example, when we go for your grapes. So in this, they produces bifragulated zoospores. This is called as zoospores. This is motile. They can move from place to place. It is not the answer. The third one is aplanospores. So aplanospores are nothing but they are the spores produced. They cannot move. So usually they are non-motile. So this is called as aplanospores. These spores are usually produced by the mucor Himalayas and they cannot move. The fourth option is none of the above. So the right answer is aplanospores. So this is the right answer. Aplanospores is the right answer. So we go for the next question. Protozoans, slime molds and protistian algae are included. Protozoans, slime molds and protistian algae are included under Monera. First option is Monera. So we know that Monera is nothing but it comes under unicellular organisms are classified under this. So this is not the answer. The second one is called as protista. So in this protista, we know that there is a presence of the algae as well as the protozoans. So the protista comes under this. So the right answer is kingdom protista. Third option, kingdom fungi, mycota. So in this kingdom fungi or mycota, so we know that the protozoans never occurs. So the answer is protista. So fourth option is plantae. So the plantae is nothing but where there is a presence of well-developed plants have been present under this. So even this is not the answer. So the right answer is second one. So we go for the next one. Heterocysts occur in. Heterocysts occur in. So we know that the first option is chlorophyceae. So the word chlorophyceae is nothing but commonly called as green algae. It is called as green algae. So we go for the second one. The second one is phaeophyceae. Second one is phaeophyceae. This is commonly called as brown algae. This is brown algae. So when we go for the third one, it is called as cyanophages, or we call it as cyanophyceae. So here the cyanophyceae is also called as cyanobacteria. cyanobacteria. It is nothing but nostoc. Here the nostoc is nothing but blue-green algae. Blue-green algae. And the fourth one is usually called as rhodophyceae. So here it is nothing but red algae. So here the question is heterosis. The meaning of heterosis, in the nostoc filaments there is a presence of AMD looking cells. They are called as heterosis. As I mentioned, heterosis is of two types. One is called as intercalary, it is present in between, and terminal is called as terminal heterosis. This heterosis always helps in nitrogen fixation. So here the right answer is cyanophyceae. Third option is right. So we'll go for 25th question. Fungal spores produced asexually at top or sides of the hyphae are called. The first one is called as zoospores. As I mentioned here, zoospores are always produced from the eulothrix. As I said, there is a biflagellated spores are being present. The second one is spore. The spores are nothing but small outgrowths or spherical shaped structures called as spores. That's not the answer. The third one is chlamydospores. The chlamydospores are nothing but from a chlamydomonas, the spores are being produced. Again, these spores are also called as chlamydospores. That is not the answer. The right answer is conidia. So as I mentioned here, there is a presence of hyphae. From this, there is a presence of conidophores. From the conidophores, it produces conidia. So here, this conidia is usually produced at the top or the sides of the hyphae, and this is the fungal spores. So the right answer is conidia. Fourth option is right.